Hi, my name is Youshubes. I'm here to make Sean, Spurs video podcast. Wow, so let's talk about the start of the season. And apparently a new promoted side is about to break their record, transfer record and spend 12 million on a player from Serie A. Well, on that bombshell, let's move on. See what I did there, mate? First of all, I'm really pissed that we haven't signed anyone. We haven't gotten a striker in, and it's really, really annoying. And we're not seeing to replace Luka Modric. We're basically, I don't know, not going to use it. Basically saying, you know what, Hamilton is too expensive. We can't afford him. I don't know whether that's some kind of bait brinksmanship or some. I have no idea. Luka Modric is a very fine player. There are only four players I can think of that are actually better than Luka Modric in his position. I've said many times. Hit me up on Twitter or Facebook or on Spurs Forum UK, which is where I do my most of my posting, and ask, who you think those players are. But you know what? No one player is bigger than the club. For example, one of the finest players I ever saw play at the club in my lifetime was Paul Gascoigne, and he was incredible. But we lost him, and we had to learn to move on. But the fact that coincided with one of the worst periods in our history is just an incredible coincidence, right? Moving on, I don't blame Lee for doing what he's doing. He has to look after the club's interest financially, and you know what? Gaston Ramirez, 12 million. For Southampton, they're a new promoted side. For them to spend 12 million on a new player, that's just some serious coin. And if they can outbid us, maybe, I don't know what the wages he's after. What are you after? I don't know, 50 grand a week. If he wants that, good luck to him. I understand why we're not going to pay that much money for him. I don't know if that's his agent trying to stir the pot. If I wouldn't use Southampton for crying out loud. They haven't got rich sugar daddy. That's the way, I don't know, QPR do. In terms of our setup tomorrow, I think 4-2-3-1. Back Bradford in goal, Kyle Walker, Younes Kaboul, Jan Vertonghen, and Benny. Back four. Double pivot will have to be. I'm guessing it will be Huddleston and Sandro. Front three will be Bale. I'm hoping on the left. Probably Rafa and Lennon on the right, and up front it will be Jermaine Defoe, unless someone thinks Harry Kane can make a huge improvement. I'm going to go for a 0-0. They've got apparently Jemba Bar and Cisse, according to Physio Room, are slight doubts, but me personally, I don't believe that. I think it's more likely that Tiote and Kabaya are out, and if those two are out, that's their engine room. And players like Dan Gosling, and I think I got some other players, but they're nowhere near as good. And that's I think if we can dominate midfield, then I think, I'm not saying we'll win, but the chances are I think we'll get probably a 0-0 or a 1-1 draw or something like that. I'd like to be a bit more positive, but now the 12 o'clock window's gone and we can't sign any players until then. It doesn't look really positive. We waited. As people forget that we waited a long time. Luckily the transfer window closed and we don't have. Last year we had Man United and Man City, so we don't actually have that this time. So So thankfully it's not that bad. I think we can beat Norwich. I can't remember if West Brom's the other thing. I think we can beat them as well. Whether we can, I'm hoping we can anyway. And hopefully we can sign some players in. 35 million is a huge chunk of change, and it's different reports. Some people say 25 million plus add-ons. I cannot imagine Levy, especially in the light of Van Persie who moved from Arsenal to Man United, which still makes me smile. I cannot imagine that he would let anyone go for less than say 34 million cash. And then add-ons, he's not as good as Chet Fabregas. Oops, did I give that away? Well, and on that bombshell, let's move on. Give my shout-outs. I'm hoping, why on earth we haven't tried to sign Berbatov? I don't get it. He's available. Man United don't want him. The only other team that could possibly in for him would be like Zenit St. Petersburg's. But it's hardly as if he's got. I think he's got kids. He's been living in this country now for at least 6 years. Maybe he does want to uproot and be nearer to Bulgaria, or maybe he just wants to stay in the UK for a little bit longer and then try his chance in China. Berbatov would be my choice signing. I think a certain Miss P would be absolutely delighted if we signed him, but I don't know. That's where my shout goes to. Give a shout out to Craigie Boy, I think, Mike and Debs, who are going to be going up to St James's, and the regular crew, from Spurs AD. I think some Spurs Forum guys are going to go up there as well. So yeah, have a good safe trip. Enjoy some Newcastle Brown Ale. But yeah, am I disappointed we haven't signed anyone? Yeah, I am disappointed. But I think, if anyone thinks, I'm not look. Those of you guys know, I really like Tom Carroll. I've seen him do a lot of the Lucas tricks, but he's nowhere near ready. I think he has to be battle season, and I still advocate loan him and Livermore, get them out on loan, get them playing regularly. I think one of the reasons we haven't signed anyone is that people forget that Luka Modric was only on, say, 50 grand a week, I think, with us. Whereas you've got guys like Janus and Bentley who are on probably a much higher wage, and we have to get them off the balance sheet as well. Bentley, I can't imagine we've offered him a new contract. Dos Santos, don't know what's happening with that. I think he's on a 4-year contract, so if we don't shift him this year, then we're going to have a Bosman ruling against us, so we have to shift him. But I just don't get why we haven't signed anyone. Are we still waiting for Adebayor? Well, do you know what? He's going to wait till the last 2 weeks. Because he's still getting paid £170 a week. He'll train with the reserves, but he's still getting paid. He'll Bogard. Why wouldn't he Bogard? That's Winston Bogard, not Humphrey. He's looking at you, kid. Bogart. Bogarts even. But yeah, I just still think Leandro Damião, we just need to sort something out. I mean, we do need to strike. I mean, for those of you who didn't see, like ESPN, he can play back to goal brilliantly. He's got an eye for a pass. It's not say sharing him, but he chested it. He saw the run and he just played it in a position that he knew. He knew or he expected Oscar to move into. And Oscar's an intelligent guy. I am pissed that we weren't able to sign him. That Chelsea did trump us. But fair play to them. They got their business done. We could have easily made, but for 25 million. I can't understand why we didn't. He might not settle. He may not be the right fit, and we can't match them. We can't match Chelsea on wages or Champions League. We can't match them on that without a doubt. But why not? We have this sporting agreement with a team like Inter, and for it to mean absolutely jack shit. We should be getting first dibs. We should be using it. They trumped us, bid us out of the war. Good luck to them. Is he going to play? Well, let's see. I've got Lampard, Ramirez, Morelos, who I don't want at the club. I'm sorry. If you are looking at youth and developing youth team players, then you want to sign a player who's proven quality. Morelos is not proven quality. He's a good player. He's not great. Is he better than Janus? Slightly, but that's not really saying that much. It's not saying Carrick was slightly better than Mendes. At that time he was, but he obviously went on to develop. But I still don't think Morelos is going to be that kind of player to push us forward. In terms of what I think we need to do, we need to sign strikers. Hudderson's going to have to start really producing. If he wants to Xabi Alonso, he's going to be taking his chance. I think it'll be easier for him and use a playmaker. He's going to do a lot more of the Hollywood style, big long passes. But I want to see him, deliver that ball left and right foot, because he is 2-footed apparently. So therefore, I need to see a bigger range of passing and quicker passing from him. So when he gets the ball, bam, he looks for a pass. Bam. The up and unders. Because that's something that Jermaine Defoe will thrive on. He's quick enough to thrive on that. And if he doesn't, you've got Sigurdsson, who's good. He's a good crosser. I don't think he's got the eye for the 5-yard, 10-yard pass, that slide rule pass that Modric does. But it is what it is. Anyway, we're coming up to almost the end of this Spurs video podcast. As always, I appreciate any feedback. I also appreciate you click on the ad links if and when they appear. Please Google, let them appear. And as always, check out Spurs Forum. That's the message board I post on the most. And there are guys who like to troll and numpty. Don't let them intimidate you. Most of them, you know what? They want to say something. If that's how they get their jollies, I feel sorry for those guys personally. I don't feel any antipathy towards them. I did last year. I made a real prick at myself last year. I actually offered one. I got really pissed at one of them. But you know what? You got to learn to let things go. And if someone wants to be a dick, let them. At the end of the day, you'll be the big person for not saying anything. Anyhow, as always, thank you for watching this, and as always, come on you Spurs.